Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because we got a bit of a different one. Now, I was actually about to get to work on a new console fanboy video. We were going to be going back to when God of War initially came out. But just like The Last of Us 2 factions, that's going to be on ice for now. Because Sony has announced another revision to the PS5. And this one is quite a bit controversial, let me tell you. Now, the PS5 has had, I think, 2 revisions already. There was the one where Austin Evans got into the controversy and then Dreamcast guy blew the situation out of proportion, where they basically made the heatsink smaller. And then I'm pretty sure, somebody correct me if I'm wrong on this one, but I'm pretty sure there was another small revision where it used less power. And consoles are no stranger to getting revisions. I mean, the Nintendo Switch got a revision. I think in like 2019, they got a different chip put into it that was like slightly more power efficient or something. And I mean, we all know that the Xbox One came out and then the Xbox One S came out. Although the One S was a bit more of an extreme revision because they kind of redid the whole design and dropped the price by almost 50%, which I think the One S was a great revision, especially when it came to dropping the price. And I think the initial PS5 revisions were actually good as well. You know, it didn't really negatively impact the console at all. Sony got to save some more money, and now they're at the point where they're making a profit off of PS5 sales. However, this new revision has had a lot of people very upset, and we're gonna jump into why right now. So Sony has officially announced that there will be a revision to the PS5, which will make it basically a slim version. Although instead of being like the PS4 and the PS4 Slim, this version of the PS5 is still just going to be called the PS5. And then once the current PS5 sells out, they're not going to make those anymore, and they're only going to make the revised version. But there are some issues, and like Fritz said in his video, Sony is proving more and more as time goes on that they are the Apple of the console gaming market. Because let's go ahead and take a look at what this new version offers, because it's not just a slimmer console, it's a bit more than that. All of this is posted on the PlayStation website, by the way. So as you can see, smaller PS5 design comes with 1 terabyte of storage for PS5 and PS5 Digital. New model provides option to add a UHD Blu-ray disc drive to the PS5 Digital Edition. So unfortunately, they didn't give us a side-by-side comparison for the old ones and the new ones, but you can clearly see it's definitely thinner. Especially I can tell because one of my friends has a PS5. Every Friday, my school has like a game night thing and he brings his PS5 over to it. And I can clearly tell there is a difference. They say it's 30% smaller and it weighs less, which is nice. However, you may have also caught the fact that in the bottom right of the picture, it said vertical stand sold separately. That's right, with this new PS5 model, you don't get the vertical stand anymore. Even though the vertical stand has come with every other revision of the PS5, you don't get it with this one. Now, of course, it would be unfair to overlook the positives. 200 more gigabytes of storage is nice. And the fact that you can essentially upgrade the digital version to a physical version later on is actually really cool. However, there's a couple problems with this, and this is where my main criticisms come in. Let's go ahead and get into the next part of the article. The new PS5 has been reduced in volume by more than 30% and weight by 18% and 24% compared to the previous models. There are 4 separate cover panels, with the top portion in a glossy look, while the bottom remains in matte. If you purchase the PS5 Digital Edition, you can add the UHD Blu-ray disc drive for PS5 later, as it will be sold separately for $79.99. Now, that doesn't sound too awful, right? Because the PS5 Digital Edition costs $400. So if you got that and then got the Blu-ray drive later, you would still have saved 20 bucks, right? Right? No! As Lex Luthor was so kind to say, wrong. So let's go ahead and read the final part of this article, and then we can really break everything down. The recommended retail prices for the new PS5 model are as follows, beginning with the rollout in November at participating retailers. As you can see, in US dollars, the regular PS5 will still cost $500, and the PS5 Digital will now cost $450. You would think that since we're 3 years into these consoles' lifespans, and this is a pretty major revision, you think the price would get dropped. Again, 3 years into the Xbox One's life, you got the major revision with the One S and a significant price drop. But no, we are getting a price increase. And let me just remind you real quick, these consoles do not come with a vertical stand. You have to buy that separately for $30 more. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that it said the vertical stand will cost $30? So yes, the extra 200 gigabytes of storage are nice. price, but it doesn't justify increasing the price of the digital version by $50 and then taking out the vertical stand. Now, it is important to mention these consoles will come with a vertical stand, but I would bet that the majority of people stand their PS5s vertically. This is legitimately Sony's version of taking the charger out of the box. Obviously, I'm referring to Apple. Like, yes, Apple may have released a new phone that's better than their previous one, but they're taking something out of the box that's been there for every single other model. And going back to the thing where you can buy the external Blu-ray drive to put into your PS5 Digital, yeah, since that costs $80 and the new PS5 Digital will cost $450, if you want to get the PS5 Digital version and then add the disc drive on later on, you have to spend $30 more than you would if you just got the PS5 with the disc drive. That is actually ridiculous. Adding a bit of extra storage does not justify taking something out that your console was previously sold with. And this price increase on the digital edition is so ridiculous. You can tell that Sony is very slowly trying to keep pushing and pushing to see how much they can get away with. And nobody tried to justify it by saying, oh, well, it's $50 extra because now you can add the disc drive. My brother in Christ, the disc drive already costs $80. They don't need to charge an extra $50 for the console as well. And you can't use the argument of, oh, well, it's the extra storage, because the PS5 with the disc drive also got the increased storage, but it did not get a price increase. And again, they took out the vertical stand and you have to buy that separately for $30 more. It's actually kind of wild if you think about it. After these new PS5s come out, just getting a PS5 digital with what it came with previously is almost as expensive as getting a PS5 with the disc drive. Think about it, the new digital one's gonna be $450, and then if you want to get the stand that it came with previously, that's an extra $30. That comes out to $480. It is going to cost $80 more to get the PS5 Digital Edition fully than what it did previously. And then, of course, if you want the physical PS5 with everything that it came with previously, you're gonna have to spend $30 extra. The consoles now effectively cost $480 and $530. And I would not be surprised if in the future we saw the PS5 physical version get boosted up to $550. I mean, I know that's already happened in some other countries. I'm talking US dollars. So I guess to kind of round this out before I give my advice on anything, I guess, you know what, let's make a pros and cons list. All right, I took a few minutes to write out a pros and cons list, and here's what I have. Pros, you can add the disc drive to the digital version. That's pretty cool. You get 200 more gigs of space, and both models are 30% smaller. Cons, no more vertical stand included. You gotta pay $30 extra for that. So heck you if you want to stand your PS5 upright without it falling over. The PS5 Digital is now up $50 to $450. The disc drive add-on for the PS5 Digital is $80. This is something I forgot to mention, but if you have those custom plates for your PS5, you know, the ones that come in different colors and everything, those won't work on this new one because now there's that split down the middle because of the detachable disc drive. So yeah, those old plates won't work anymore. They're gonna make new ones for that. And this one's definitely a bit more of a nitpick, but I thought it was kind of funny. The PS5 physical version looks like it's either pregnant or it has a hernia. The first physical version already didn't look great, but man, that thing sticks out like a sore thumb now that it's thinner. So I guess before I wrap up this video, I'm just gonna give my advice on what I would do. I am not planning on buying a PS5 or any console for that matter. Although if you have ever considered getting a PS5 or if you're considering getting one now, I would get it before this new model comes out because Sony is going to screw your wallet extra hard with this new model. Get the current model so you actually get the vertical stand with it. And I guess if you want to get a digital edition, get that before it goes up by $50 for no reason. I genuinely don't know who signed off on this idea, but I guess maybe Jim Ryan is trying to make PlayStation implode before he leaves or something, who knows. And actually, I just checked, MVG made a video talking about the PS5 Slim, and he's surprisingly negative in it, and then all his comments are saying how anti-consumer this is. Not even MVG can defend this one, or at least he couldn't completely defend it. Wink wink, nudge nudge, perhaps a video in the future. But yeah, this is just really not a good look for Sony overall. Taking out components of the hardware, increasing the price, and then selling those pieces of hardware that they took out of the box back to us for extra money. Oh yeah, I've gone through this whole thing and I haven't even mentioned the fact that they're probably going to save money on this because they're, you know, having to make less of a console. You know, it's smaller, fewer parts, so they're probably saving even more money. So they're even less justified in doing this. But anyway, before I rant too much longer, I'm gonna wrap this one up. I'm sure we're gonna get salt surrounding this whole situation, so stay tuned for the next few days and weeks. As always, thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will catch you all next time.